Hi. Okay. Sorry, late start. Apologies. I don't know why my social stream is spamming twice. I really need to figure out how this works. Oh, never used to do this. Now it's doing it twice. Hmm. So annoying. Okay. Well, let me get into it and hopefully not too much chat at the moment. I need to figure this out. Anyway, it's going to be a short stream today. I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin, QANX, and TRVL. I'm going to stick to the charts, I think, today. Big sell-off, really big sell-off. So you can see crazy sell-off. Let me have a look at what I was looking at before on Tuesday. I think it was so kind of Tuesday I was looking at it here. It went up, came down, tried to go up, and then collapsed. So there was no reaction on that trade. Was a good one. This was no reaction, and then there was actually a little bit of a reaction, but not much. And then it kind of collapsed. So that's how that went. Let's go back to the volume, the levels, single prints, points of control. Oof. Clearing a lot of liquidity. No reactions. No reaction through the liquidity. Liquidity is being cleared. Rejection off the value area low. It's looking really disastrous, isn't it? I can't get into XO charts because it's down for some reason, so I can't look at the order flow. And this is our next big level, right at the lows here. So let me just update the volume. Go into the single prints. It's a little bit of a high volume node there, so I'm going to mark it out. No reaction. So we're just on the way down. The price, BTC price, is clearing the liquidity like a hot knife through butter. But we're coming to the monthly level. We've hit it and getting a little bit of a reaction, but not much. Zoom in, no, not much. No reaction really. Look, it closed underneath the monthly level. Where's the fibs? There you go. All the way back up to the point of control. Probably not. It's probably heading down for this weekly daily level with the 886. That's kind of the last line of defense for Bitcoin. Really? And then let me just zoom out. So the other thing I can do is look at a previous range volume before the breakout there. You've got previous range, high volume node, which is the point of control, which is at that daily level. You've got the value area high, yeah. So we're looking for a reaction. If you don't get a reaction, there's no trade. If you get a reaction off this area, you've got a daily level. Oh, my phone's ringing. Hold on. So we're looking for signs of strength, or we're looking for swing failures at areas of confluence. Apart from this swing failure at these lows, there's nothing there. And so you really need the price to find support here. Effectively a swing failure off the pivot that's already put in, effectively. That's of today. For a long. There's no shorts here, it's just longs. But you have to wait for the setup. So you can't long this. You can long a swing failure of the current pivot level. And the problem with that is it could swing failure once, twice, 3 times. It could swing failure a lot before it wants to reverse. So scalping, effectively scalping until you get a really nice setup, which means you take profit very quickly once you are in positive numbers. But effectively you're looking for a swing failure of the current pivot with a reaction off the 886. That's probably the area of interest, the 886, which is also a daily level into that weekly level. There's a couple of like lower liquidity levels here, but the reality is if you start losing the 886, the chances of this holding are low. And then actually what you're really going for is much lower. And you got another scalp potential of the pivot there, but there's nothing there. So it's going to be really volatile. And we may end up with a better long. All the way back down to this naked daily point of control, daily level, and a previous range point of control. It's actually starts at the value area high of the previous range, back at 69.5. It's kind of your area of interest. These are two area of interests, really, for a reaction, for a long. So we could find support here. You know, it's possible. But you need to see probably another swing failure, maybe another swing failure, hit that weekly level and the daily level. Probably if it's going to happen, it'll probably be much quicker than just that. It'll probably be bam. And what you're looking for are trap shorts. Short, 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 trap, 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 trap. And then you're looking for a spring to there, really, to that high volume node, kind of initially. But what we're doing is we're getting a crazy sell-off, and right now you're looking for longs potentially. So it's kind of the two areas of interest. We don't know where the pivot's going to be put in. Wherever the pivot's going to be put in, you'll be looking for a retrace back up to resistance, of course. Where is resistance? Well, Probably the point of control, and this one at the moment, probably for a lower high. You don't know where the pivot's going to be put in, so that's the problem. So just kind of imagining the future. Can't really tell. I mean, if it goes all the way down, if it goes all the way down to, yeah, I don't know if the price is going to hold. The sell-off is too brutal, but I mean, who knows? You never know. Yeah, it's hard to know exactly where. I mean, ideally you want it to go back up to the 618, the golden pocket, wherever that lands. But then the lower you go, you'd have to go much lower. So, and then you've got this gigantic point of control in the way. Let me do the volume for the whole lot. Yeah. I think probably this is the area of interest, probably coming all the way down to 69, 70k. Just looking at how the price is moving. But you never know. The price could always find support at the 886, which lines up with I think it's more likely than not to head down to 69, somewhere between 69 and 70. But you never know. Could the price find support here? It totally could. After a crazy sell-off like this, sometimes you get continuation at the weekend, but I think the probability is for a pump at the weekend. Probability is for a low volume pump. That's the probability, and then continuation next week to hit our 60s. The point of control here of both of these ranges is a bit lower, but that coincides nicely with this golden pocket. So there's pretty strong resistant support level here. Wide invalidation, need a reaction. This is probably the one. And then if it did manage to get down all the way down there, honestly looking for a retrace all the way back up to trap all those shorts. Probably back up to the value area low for a test. But it can get quite volatile, so it's hard to know. Come back to test the value area that we've lost, and you see you've got the value area here. So if it does go all the way down up to test and then for another attack of the lows, the balance of probabilities. It's all about probabilities. It's all about the balance of probabilities, and you have to wait for the reaction. Back up to the 50 fib, maybe like down there. Yeah, that's kind of where BTC is at the moment. It's a crazy sell-off, big sell-off. Lots of fear in the markets. So I still think it's a good place, good time to long, but we have to wait for the reaction. And obviously accumulation is just a non-constant thing when you're dollar cost averaging. And 80, what's the price of Bitcoin now? 83,000. It's getting to really good prices, And that's basically Bitcoin. Let's have a look at these other ones. I think total market cap's been selling off. So we're coming back to some back test of this breakout on total 2 and total 3. You see that? And that's normal. That's not unusual. You see, it did it once before where we had the breakout here. It came all the way back. It's not unusual for this to come back. And it wouldn't be unusual for this to come all the way back again. Bam. Take out that pivot low, back test, and you get some kind of confluence between the markets. And then total 1 is just going to probably attack. Don't know how total 1 is going to behave. So how does that coincide with BTC? Yeah, BTCD isn't really going up. So usually when there's real panic, the value will go back into BTC, and it's not doing that. So it's a different kind of panic this time. People aren't dropping their alts, even though alts are pulling back. People are still kind of alt heavy, and they're just holding on to their alts, or they're starting to accumulate alts. That's what it looks like. So I think the market is expecting a pump, at least with altcoins. And it looks like Bitcoin overshot, and now it's just pulling back while altcoins are kind of under pressure. But at the same time, not as much as they could be if BTC was to collapse, like really collapse. Let's have a look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC isn't selling off yet. It's just trying to find support here of this overall range point of control, isn't it? And if ETH BTC does manage to find support, if it manages to hold this point of control, then rather than go down like that, which would be a doomsday scenario for a mega long, find support here, you could actually ping back up. It's possible. That. It's basically Bitcoin, really. I think I was just kind of looking at this weekly candle. Look how long it is. It's pretty long. It's a big long one. If it is the bear market, like if you do, it could be like this, and so you could get. We haven't seen this big buying tail yet. Like usually, and that's the problem, isn't it? So that was the first sell-off. Then you had the big one, and then it went down for weeks and weeks, and then it sprang up. And this one, you get these big long red candles, and it consolidates. It looks to go up, actually. The market start for weeks, it will start going up, 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 before you get another sell-off. And so we're kind of at the beginning of a sell-off, but doesn't mean it's going to just drop, drop, drop. It could probably, in the same way, we got this. This was slightly different, but you could get a situation like that. You can get a spring out of it, or you can get a sell-off at the end of it. You can get both. No one really knows. No one can predict that. But at the moment, it looks like it wants to, if it can, go all the way down to 70k. If it can, it will. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to destroy your alts, because I'm looking at ETH BTC, and despite everything, ETH BTC has been holding up nicely. ETH hasn't. But ETH BTC has. Let's have a look at ETH. Just have a look at the fibs. Yeah, again, it could come back. Looks like it could come back to the golden pocket, but this is a V-shaped recovery with return to the 50 fib. It could hold here. So we don't really know exactly what's going to happen. It would be nice to hold here, but it could easily go down to the golden pocket for a bounce. But what you are looking at is a V-shaped recovery on ETH BT ETH here. See, that's a V-shaped recovery. Could quite easily find support here. But this is a really crazy sell-off, and so usually when you get those V-shape, really nice V-shaped recoveries, it'll be more like this. If it was more like that, then you'd expect the 50 fib to hold. In this circumstance, you could kind of go down there, take the liquidity from the golden pocket, and that would be where you get a spring from. Now, it doesn't have to go and put in a higher high. It could easily just go back, put in a lower high for a sell-off or a lower high. It's kind of where I'm at with the charts right now. Can't see the order flow, can't see what's happening. But like right now, every pump is getting sold into. You can see that. All right, that's BTC. Let's have a look quickly. Let's move on to QANX. Oh, that's not the chart. You see the value is being sold into BTC, but altcoins are still kind of, yeah, the swing failure of these lows. Okay, so that's a lower low there. Could that be the pivot? It could be, or we could go down, take it out again. I've been looking at QANX in depth. It's kind of the area I think we'd like to see hold, huh? My crazy PA from, I don't know how long ago that was, a couple of months at least, saying it's possible to find support here. We are getting a little bit of reaction here. You can see that, a little bit buying, market buying. I think the best thing to do with these kind of low market cap altcoins is not market buy, is place limit orders. That's my best advice. If anyone's looking to buy, place limit orders. You don't need to market buy. But these low market cap coins, you market buy, you're pushing the price up, you're getting a worse price. Yeah, you don't need to do that because the market's in sell mode at the moment, and so when your market's in sell mode, you can put limit orders. You don't have to go market. You can put limit orders and get filled quite nicely when everyone is panic selling. So I can't see crazy volume on QANX. And see, the thing is, I want to see volume, and I'm not seeing it. So you're getting these kind of low volume market buys, but it's not great, is it? It's not what you want to see. You want to see kind of like a high volume absorption. That's what you want to see. Is my camera working? I think so. Can't tell. So again, no real changes from before. Miserable weekly candle. Last week was a miserable one. This is a continuation. Monthly candle is looking pretty depressing at the moment. Could we close higher in the month? It's possible the month close higher than the previous month low. That would be okay. If it closes lower, then we still got work to do on QANX. It's looking bearish, but when it looks bearish, that's often the best times to start buying. So we're coming into really good prices here. It almost hit 2 cents. It's a shade above 2 cents, but we've already got a swing failure. I'm not seeing the volume. I want to see volume on QANX. I'd like to see volume. So it is possible to go down further and attack these lows. So I'm not quite sure where this could land. Let me try and do some kind of time pivot here. No help. Where is that? There's, again, third week of December. There's a time pivot. And I've got third week of December on some other tokens as well. So could the low be put in on the third week of December? And you got to remember the low, you could do this and then you could come down like that. It's, you know, you could get a final just to put in a low. The low could be a higher low, but this is kind of based on these pivots. This is kind of the 618 and then the 1-to-1. It's kind of where you want the price to find support, probably off a swing failure, looking at the way the structure is forming. We've put in a lower low now, so definitely a swing failure on QANX on the charts. I'm still looking at this harmonic idea. And then if we do kind of put in a pivot low like that, then maybe we can get a nice rally all the way up to take out that X point, like a 300% increase in value, something like that. It's kind of what I'm looking at on QANX. It depends, because the mainnet could change things in a very tangible way. It depends on the volume that comes into the market. We don't know. It depends on how the price goes up. If the price bottoms here, goes up, consolidates, goes up, you know, that's it really, isn't it? But if the price goes up like that, in one go, then this idea is invalidated, and then, you know, maybe we're going to go higher. Yeah, so the idea of a pivot here, I'd say 2nd to 3rd week of December is okay still, and that's kind of what I'm looking for right now to coincide with my crazy PA idea. We are in that zone to form a pivot low, but we're a little bit early still, and haven't seen lows formed suddenly. Sometimes it takes about 3 weeks. You see this last one took 1, 2, 3 weeks. This took much longer. 3 weeks. Maybe it'll take another 2 or 3 weeks once we settle down. BTC really needs to settle down. Okay, so kind of looking at the next token now, and that's going to be my stream. It's TRVL. I like TRVL, you know, like, I mean, talking about TRVL a lot. We had the big announcement, the new chapter announcement. If you haven't been following it, I really do encourage you to have a look at my stream from my channel a couple of days ago. I've created a new video from it. I've called it the huge Do Travel Update. New CEO, TRVL token revival and crypto travel revolution. It's a 1 hour stream, 1 hour 8 minutes. If you haven't if you want to learn more about what's happening, please go and have a look at that video. I've sectioned it off into chapters, so you can kind of skip through if you want. I encourage you to have a watch of that video if you get a bit of time. That's your research. Do your due diligence. It's always good to do due diligence. I'm not shilling a token. I'm fully aware. I'm not stupid. I'm fully aware that we've had a crazy sell-off. We've had the most volume on this token this month ever. Okay. And we've got a lot of volume in these lows in the price action. A lot of volume. And so that's a good sign. That's kind of what you want to see. When you get a lot of volume, it means there's interest. You don't want to see low volume taper off. If I do a volume pool, you can see that we're still within the value area. You can see that the value area, the point of control is at a 7/10, just over 7/10 of a cent. The value area high is at 2.3 cents. That's the range. That's the volume range. And we've just put in crazy volume. And I think there's a highly likely over the next couple of weeks that the point of control will shift to the lows again. So what I'm imagining that this point of control here, this red line, moves down to here. You can see there's a lot of volume inputting here right now at these prices. And I've been buying as well. Of course I have. I can't tell people this is a good buy and then not buy myself. This token is super low market cap. I've talked about this. Super low market cap right now. 1.5 $7 million, fully diluted 3.4. It's really low for what D-Travel has created, which is a legitimate working business, decentralized, with a real world network, a growing real world network. And I talk about this in my previous video. I talk about the business, I talk about why I'm bullish, and with the changes that have been announced. If you haven't seen the changes, just go to the D-Travel website, go to the blog. See, we've had this has been updated. Look, resources. You see a new chapter. You click on that. Resources. Look, documentation blog. This been looks like the website's been updated a little bit. So this is good. Join Telegram. Look at this. This is all new actually. I'm looking at this now for the first time this week. Second time this week, but there's been a change here. Look, web app host. This is looking nice. So go and have a look. Documentation if you want. I'm not sure if the documentation has been updated yet, and all of this is changing. So you can see there's a lot of big changes happening here, and here the search engine's here too, so you can have a look at properties and search and book properties using crypto or fiat, depending on the property in question. Is my internet lagging? Probably. There you go. You can search. I'm not going to do it now. But just looking at the token, it's really hard to analyze a token which is hitting all-time lows. Yeah, there's no one is shilling anyone anything. It's obvious we're at all-time lows, but we're getting nice volume. Look, the 3-day volume, with the most 3-day volume, and it was a buy. You see that green volume there? So we are getting a really nice buying here. So it could be the people who've sold, and I think you've got to be careful because there are whales are buying. I've been buying, you know, TRVL. It's so cheap. It's so cheap. You can buy 1 million right now. You can buy 1 million TRVL for just under $3,500. 1 million. And if you think that when you look at the number of tokens in circulation, there's only 454 million in circulation. It's very easy to become a whale in D-Travel right now. Very easy. Which is a shame because you kind of want the broader group of people to have a stake in TRVL, but it's usually what happens. The savvy ones who know what's going on, who have capital to invest, they're the ones who always benefit and prosper because they're not panicked when the price drops. They see price drops as an opportunity. Yeah. Now, has the bear market started? Is this token going to zero? I don't know. I mean, the bear market could have started. It is possible, but crypto is crazy. You could see crazy things in crypto. Everyone's talking bear market, and then suddenly you can see BTC rally up to 200k. It's possible, and it will take the market by surprise. When you're looking at these altcoins which are so cheap, I mean, how much room is there for the price to go down? Well, there's obviously room, but you have to remember, because the market cap is so low, 1.5 mil, the lower it gets, the easier it is to hold the lows, isn't it? The project isn't going under. It's a new start, a new chapter, which I've talked about in my previous stream. And we've just begun. Really, we've just begun. Things are sliding into place for a fresh start. Yeah, so we've just really begun. We've begun knowing that we have a real world network that's work. We have a business model that's working. And we have a lot of interest with investors because of the new chapter, because of the new vision. And what's important is that a lot of people have honed in on what I said in the previous stream, that TRVL is going to be the main focus of the next chapter. So while in the past the value of TRVL has dropped because there was really no need for TRVL in all of everything that was built from beginning to now, we didn't need TRVL. We could have just launched a fresh token today. Could have. But now what we're doing is we're changing it so D-Travel will not only need it, but people will need TRVL for D-Travel, and they'll want it too. Okay, so that's what's changing. I think because I like to look at higher time frame, like looking at the yearly. Now the yearly could close big red like that, and then you could get a nice retrace all the way up to the top, which would already be like 1,000 or 1,300%. That's possible, you know. So there's two kind of yearly candle scenarios that I'm envisioning right now. We close with a big red candle, maybe with a small buying tail or whatever, and then the next yearly will go up to clear the liquidity for a lower high. That's one possible scenario, and I'm thinking that's possible. Or we get a crazy pump by the end of December and we close above 2 cents, 1.98 cents, for a higher time frame swing failure candle of the previous 3 years. And there's two possibilities. So you can imagine if we get a crazy buy up in December, then that candle closes above the previous all-time lows, then this is going to look extremely bullish. Yeah, don't look at this and go, oh, this is really terrible. If we close with a big fat red candle like this, then the probability of the next candle would at least be a retrace, at least to 50%, but possibly with a bit of a rally could go all the way to clear the liquidity right up to the top of that yearly level that would have formed. So it's kind of two possible scenarios that I'm looking at based on the candle structure on the yearly time frame. You don't often just get continuations. Like when you get these big red candles, you get a pullback. See, there was a pullback there, almost 50% before it continued. So that's also a possibility. So the possibility in the early time frame would be pullback 50% for continuation on the early time frame, or all the way up. It's possible. And so with the changes that I'm kind of talking about, and the 3-month candle hasn't ended yet, and so we have to see how this forms, because if you could also get a nice buying tail if we don't close above the previous all-time lows on this candle. It would be a crazy buying candle for that to happen. That'd be really bullish. Then the next monthly candle, you're looking for a green candle, December, or some kind of green candle. If it closes above the previous lows here, then the 6-month candle would look like a doji. 3-month candle would look like a swing failure. The early candle would look bearish with a small buying tail. So you're still looking for a pump to take us back up to 2 cents, probably. That's kind of the, or if you, depends on next month, really depends on when the changes are announced, and there are changes being announced, and this is what I've been telling people. And if you go and have a look at the new chapter, Eric, the new CEO, he says in the coming weeks, see that, in the coming weeks we will begin revealing the first pieces of this future. So effectively we're looking at a new roadmap. You can see the website's changing. I'm looking at this, I'm seeing changes on the website, and that's really exciting to see. I'm really excited about the future. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay, here to tell people about D-Travel. Please check out my previous video, and I've been buying. Now, I do encourage people to limit buying. This is the only thing. If you're watching my videos for the first time, or even if you regularly watch my videos and you're looking to buy, just place limit orders. Yeah, don't market buy. Place limit orders. You will get filled because right now the market is selling, and I'd encourage you to do that overall on all your tokens. You don't need to market buy right now. When the market is buying, when the whole market is buying, the whole market will market buy. You don't need to do that. Yeah. Right now, when the market is selling, you have to dollar cost average. If you're looking to buy dollar cost average on limit orders, limit. It will absorb the selling. It will create bullish divergences, and it prevents the price from going down. Yeah. But if you market buy, you often get filled 5 or 10% away from your entry price, and then there's always a pullback because you've market bought, and the price always tries to come back down to fill the gaps. But I'm seeing buying here. I'm seeing a lot of buying. How can you tell? Well, look, I can see, look, can you see these wicks? They're selling tails, but they're actually market buys. That's what these are market buys. People are market buying. See that? Market buying, market buying. Now, if they place limit orders, you wouldn't get these tails. You'd get bullish divergences. You'd get, it would look very different. So what we're getting now is a lot of market buying. See that? These are all market buys, market buys, market buys, market buys. What I encourage people to do if they are buying is just try and place limit orders, and that helps a lot because it prevents the price from going down and you start getting bullish divergences. RSI is really low. Yeah, the CCI is really low. We're in oversold territory right now. The bearish divergences have been cleared. And now we're just getting oversold. Low volume oversold, respectively low volume. So, although the volume is going up, but his MACD isn't really pushing down so much. If we saw the MACD push down, the volume price hold, it would be hidden. We're getting bullish divergences, but it's slightly different. It's just kind of the price has slipped more than it should have because of the lack of limit orders. That's really what's happening. The lack of limit orders has created low prices. Yeah. What people are doing is they're just market buying back in. A little bit of fear causing that behavior. So you get two types of fear. You're getting the fear of bear market and people are just dumping their altcoins, or fear of the project going to zero, they're dumping in. Or you're getting a fear where people have sold and they're afraid that the price is going to go up without them because they're out of position, and so they end up market buying to fill their position, the positions that they sold higher up. And so you're getting two types of fear in the market right now. Don't need to do that. You can just use limit orders to scale in if that's what you want to do. Selling, buying, and the slippage is quite high. And see, just yesterday's daily candle, the range was 36% just on a daily candle. So that's a lot of market buying and selling just because people want to get filled. But you could have got filled just by placing limit orders. You could have. That's the truth. And then when you're looking at the price action, like on this kind of this sell-off, it's not like sell, 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 is it? Is it sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, 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 sell, sell, sell? You know, like that's the other thing you have to notice. So people are buying, aren't they? Very different kind of price action to these sell-offs. You see this sell-off here? There was hardly any buying. It's just sell, sell, sell. We're not getting that now. We're getting a lot of buying. Yeah, you can see it in the candles. Sell, buy. So some people are selling, a lot of people are buying. So I'm just gonna never financial advice, always entertainment value only, but I think we're in a good place now, a good place to buy. Is there anything else I can do to go back to that time pivot? That's not it. Where is the time pivot? The interesting thing about putting all-time lows is that invalidates any impulsive Elliott wave move across the whole range. And that's a good thing in a sense, because we are then, in that case, we are still looking, whenever we do get the first pump, 4, 5 waves. That's what happens. Eventually, once this ends, this madness ends, then we'll be looking for the first wave, correction, ABC correction, wave 2, second, third wave, which is ABC correction, and the fifth wave. That's what we'll be looking for. Okay, so we haven't had that yet, huh? Everything's kind of been a false start, or we've put in lower lows. We've invalidated every potential 5 wave move has been invalidated. Yeah, whether it's there, whether it's there. It's all been invalidated because we've taken out the lows. And so that's, in a sense, you could argue that's a good thing, because eventually when we do skyrocket, everyone who's in now will be looking for a real 5-wave Elliott wave move. Bam, bam. You know, it could be, and it could be crazy. And I think that's what I'm looking for. I think the altcoins are so oversold that we are looking for a crazy 5-wave move across the board. Yeah. And a token like TRVL, low market cap with big changes happening, lots of interest now. There's a lot of interest. I'm just giving you what I've heard. A lot of investors are interested. A lot of big investors are interested. Wait for the big news updates. And so the big one we're talking about is this pilot scheme. Eric talks about it. I talked about it in my previous stream. Let's go and have a look at it again here. He mentioned it somewhere. Here it is. Here it is. We'll also be piloting a new ownership model that hasn't existed in the travel industry before, starting first in destinations that demonstrate the clearest alignment between local operators, community leadership, and D-Travel's long-term vision. Our first initiative is underway in El Salvador. That's the catchphrase, El Salvador, and will serve as a foundation for everything that follows. All right. There is a sneak peek. If you're following me on, it's X, isn't it? If you're following me on X, if you're not, why not? But if you are, there is a sneak peek. I posted something. There it is. Something super big is brewing in El Salvador, a first of its kind, and you will need TRVL to access the future of D-Travel. And I put a picture of myself. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Picture of myself. Look, I'm here somewhere. And I've posted a couple of pictures. This beach is beautiful. Beautiful beach. Anyway, more to come. That was a sneak peek. I don't want to spoil it, but you know, if you're watching my streams, then you're definitely invested in TRVL, or you're looking to invest in TRVL, and you're taking it very seriously. So I don't mind what's forming now on this candle. I don't mind the price action now. I think it's a really good opportunity to buy cheap TRVL, and I have been buying. And if anyone's out of position or has not formed a position yet, this is a good place to start buying. Doesn't really matter, actually. I mean, if you dollar cost average, and I'll just kind of finish up like this. If you dollar cost average, I'll give you an example. Yeah, so I'll go on a 3-day chart. Let's say you buy every 3 days. Let's say you buy now here for the first time, and you make sure you keep on buying the same amount, or maybe you take a slightly larger position because it's a really good price and you just want a good position to begin with. Then if the price kind of goes down, you can still buy every 3 days, buy, until the price comes. That means you keep on buying as the price continues. Then you end up with a bigger position, of course, but with an average price. And so you can kind of average in to whatever forms. There's no guesswork. It's just the strategy of investment which helps you deal with the fluctuations, with the volatility and the uncertainty. Yeah. And so if you just have to make sure you use the same amount and in the same time period, you end up with an average position, and you've kind of caught the low without knowing where the low forms, because no one really knows. I don't. Okay. That's if the price just goes up. Let's say the price goes up and you buy, whatever, buy. You still end up, you set up a higher average. You can't be greedy when you do that, but you still get an average. You still catch the low. There's no uncertainty because you know that you're just averaging in. That's why dollar cost averaging is the best strategy. And you have to use a time-weighted average price approach. It's called TWAP. And then when you do that, you catch the lows. Now, if you end up with a bigger position and you're in profit because the price has gone up, then once you're in profit, you've ended up with a bigger position, then you can actually take profit, and then you can take profit, let's say, but you can still, and the price goes down, you can still average in. If the price continues up after you take profit, you can still average in with your profit. It'll bring your average position higher, but it removes the uncertainty of whether the price is going up or down. Does that make sense? And these are kind of strategies which spot investors use to deal with the volatility and the uncertainty, but you have to be quite disciplined. You have to use the same amount of investment, and you have to time it on a set period. My phone's ringing again. Oh, hold on a second. Hello? Okay, so apologies for that. Anyway, I'm going to keep my stream short. I encourage everyone to do their own research. Keep an eye on the website. The website's changing, and so I can see now there's some things changing here. I don't know where the about's gone, so I think the about's going to be updated, because the about was updated and now I can see it's removed. So we're going to have a new about page here, and then also, if you want the early alpha, then probably Telegram is the place. Go on to Telegram, D-Travel Community. Andrea keeps on posting announcements. She's our community manager, Andrea Monge. And I post the videos that I'm going to stream. I do it every Friday. And then you can see all the activity as well, the discussion. Most of the discussions in this TRVL channel. Here, radio, is that radioactive? I don't know. What's his name? User Dot says we're entering a pretty nasty bear market. Good luck to all. Possibly. Something to remember is that these real world projects with real business use and real business case are always the tokens that do well in bear markets. And in our case, we plan on doing really well. And it's fundamentally down to the network growth during the business growth, because we are a real business. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. We are a real business. Yeah. In the past, people haven't been incentivized to accumulate TRVL because there's been a disconnect between the real world business, which has been growing, and TRVL. Okay. Once that changes, and you'll find out about the changes quite soon, then there'll be real incentive to not only grow the real world network, but also for people to accumulate TRVL. Okay, you have, so we're a very different type of tokens. A lot of people are thinking this is just another crypto token. No, it's not. We're not just another token. We are a real world business. Go and do your research, and if you've got any questions, throw them my way, or come onto Telegram and ask your questions here. All questions are welcome, as long as they're constructive and no nasty people, please. And we'll answer your questions, and happy to have a video chat. A couple of people have messaged me, and I've had a private video chat with them to tell them, give them some updates about the future, some investors. And so we're seeing some really big accumulation happening. All right, my next stream is going to be next Friday. Please like, share this video if you care about TRVL. You never know, I might do a surprise stream during the week or at the end of the week. I'm kind of back in London now. You can see I'm kind of got my I'm back in London. Doesn't mean I've abandoned El Salvador. It just means that it's my birthday soon and it's Christmas soon, and my family still live here, so I'm back to kind of do what matters most, which is family. And afterwards, in the new year, we'll be planning to go back to El Salvador for a much more prolonged stay and continue with Central South America with what DTRVL are doing there. We're going to explode in the next year. We are. I really believe that. All right. Have a good day. Have a good weekend, and see you at least next Friday.